Hello, and welcome to the Flowers in the Wild. I am your host, Ajna Flowers, and I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad to be back. I know that there was no episode last week, and I will talk about that in a little bit. That it ties into what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm excited to be back, and as you see, Ravina is not here with me today, and we have made the bittersweet decision that she is going to go more behind the scenes of the podcast. There are a lot of things that I want to start doing and have, be part of the podcast extensions off of that. And I don't have the time to invest in doing that part of it too, because I want the podcast to be, really a solid episode every time. And so that is more where her gifts lie, is in that she's going to start a blog. She's finding a platform for our shop, um, Wildflowers Haberdashery. And she also, which I'm really excited about, she's also going to really take a forward role in the Patreon Wildflowers, which is the paid platform. That's hard to say. The paid platform that we are introducing to you. I'm so excited, and it has 3 different tiers that you can join, um, and each of those have different things that we offer. Um, it's such an exciting time, because we are able to share our own hearts and souls with all of you, and it just, I don't know, something about that just fills me so full of love and gratitude. So make sure you stay through the end of the song, because there will be a short video explaining a little bit about the tiers and all that on Patreon. So while I'm going to miss Ravina being here, I also know that it was a struggle for her to get ready and to be able to be part of that with the health issues that she does have. That she does have to deal with on a daily basis. So I feel really at peace. She feels at peace about this. I feel like this is where our strengths are going to be used the very best. So I wanted to talk a little bit about why there was no podcast last week. For one, it's been really frustrating with the audio issues and just the technical issues and all that. It's been really frustrating because I I feel like what I'm sharing is being distorted. Not distorted, but presented, sometimes has been presented. And when Ravina was with me on the episodes, it was, it felt like there was something always trying to interfere with that message getting to the people that need to hear it and watch the podcast. And so I feel like Ravina stepping back, that and going behind the scenes, that will take care of the audio issues that we were having on her end of it, trying to connect remotely. I also feel like, and she brought this up, and I felt bad about it, but and then after I felt bad about it, then I was like, she is very right. She is right indeed. That when I am the one doing the podcast, the recording by myself, I am able to get the full message out in a smooth, fluid way. When we are on the podcast together, because of how our conversation is all the time, we talk over each other, and we we realize that that could be frustrating too, and that might be hard to follow because of that conversational way that we talked to each other. So we also feel like that is going to remedy some of that chaos that was, kind of around the whole thing. Another thing that I really feel like is so important to talk to you about today is after you've had your spiritual awakening, when you're searching for what to do, to have that spiritual awakening, it's elusive. But then when you realize that the fact is you need to persist in existing in a place of calm in every situation and trust and have faith that the universe, your higher power, knows better than you what is in your best interest and what is going to be for your highest good. Which is really easy at this point to say because it's too simple to grasp. And in our humanness, staying calm, that we're blowing that all the time. We're always, not always, but we are in situations that can put us in a place that we are reacting in a way that is not showing our best side, let's say. So when I had my spiritual awakening, between Christmas and New Year's Eve, I felt so alive. My energy, I felt it was just amazing how I felt, just like, wow, and everything did look brighter. And it was like colors were like, oh, okay. And, everything just looked so magical. But then recently, and this is part of why I didn't have an episode last week. Then suddenly I felt like I couldn't get out of bed. I do a lot of things during the day. My hands are just torn up because because my life is just flitting from one project to the next of things I'd love to do, but I have a lot of things going on. So I was unable to get out of bed, and I was like, what is wrong with you? Even knowing logically that I needed to rest. And Jack kept saying to me, you need to just take a day. So I got to the place where I was like, I really don't feel like I could get out of bed, but as far as my motivation to get out of bed, other than for the necessary reasons, I had none. So, like I do, even when I'm not in bed, I will be listening to videos, Carl Jung or Alan Watts or Abraham Hicks, those, And so I went onto YouTube and it said, if you can't get up, you need to watch this or something to that effect. So I'm like, huh. Because that seems to happen quite often to me on YouTube, that I will go on there and there will be something that I'm like, that is profound, that was what you came here, because that's what you came here to see. So it talked about the fact that if you continually you're doing something, whether it's, me doing something creative that is, my spiritual way of expressing myself or whatever, if I am doing so much that my soul feels unheard or unseen or just unthought of, I'm not paying attention to it because I've got so much going on. basically what the video said is if you can't stop, then your source will stop you. And because your soul has something to say to you. And the only way that your soul is able to say that to you and have you listen is to literally stop you in your tracks and take away everything other than your ability to be still and just listen instead of doing. Just be there and listen to what, listen for your soul song. Listen for that song that your soul is longing for you to stay in, to sing, to join in. Sing harmony if you'd like, because that's what I will do, and I do, because I love singing harmony. So anyway, I I just feel like it's so important to understand that when you have that spiritual awakening, there will come a point where that persona, that life mask, that person that you thought was your identity, that is not your identity, that starts rearing its ugly head again. And it's like, it's, you know how they say like a dying animal will, like, if you go to try to help it, it'll attack you because it's like that's its last fighting effort to save its life. And so that is the persona, that is that life mask peeling away, but wanting to hold on because that is all this human life has lived in, is that persona. So a lot of times, and that, you know, I'm starting to realize there are several levels of that dark night of the soul, but I'm realizing that those difficult times that I've gone through, and trigger warning, those times that I have attempted to take my own life, and those times that I have had those ideations, I think that's called, where you just think about it. It's not necessarily that you are going to do it, but it just always kind of floats through your brain. It's been a number of years feeling that way. That isn't how my soul feels. My soul is eternal. My soul doesn't even grasp what suicide is, because my soul is eternal. So it is this persona that I was trying to get rid of, ultimately. However, you can't get rid of the persona without taking everything when you choose to do that. But what I have learned is those times, those dark nights of the soul, those hopeless nights that you don't think you can go on another second, but you make it through and you're still there the next day and you're still here watching this podcast and I'm here doing it. I needed to go through that in order to not pass a test, but to learn a lesson, to learn resilience, to learn that my strength is the very strongest when my humanness thinks I am the weakest. Because if you ever have spent a night planning your extinction, yet you woke up the next morning and you went about your day and you did what had to be done, and even though every night that might be where your mind went or goes, you're there the next day. That is teaching you how to survive anything, any situation that arises in your life. When you have learned these lessons in a very hard, intense way, and you have made it out alive, that is showing you that in your weakness, you are made strong. So I want you to flip the script on how you see those difficult things that happen in your life, that feel relentless, that feel like they're just never going to stop. You are being trained to be a warrior, to be someone who doesn't cave under pressure, who can stay calm, who can persist in existing in a place of calm in all situations, and allows the universe to do what the universe does best, and that is give us what is for our highest good. And that is not always what we think is for our highest good. But if you look back over your life and the way it has been serendipitously orchestrated, if you really pay attention and start being aware, you will see how those horrible things, those have trained you, those have molded you, and you weren't burned up in the fire. You have been refined by the fire. And gold that has been refined by fire is one of the strongest things and one of the most beautiful things. But it took fire to turn it into something so amazingly beautiful and valuable. So perhaps if we stop looking at those tragedies, those horrible things that happened in our lives as tragedies that happened in our lives, while they were, I'm not discounting that because we were affected. What if you started really paying attention to the lessons that, if you choose to see them as lessons, that you have learned? And that now, from this point on, even when that dark night of the soul shows up, you can remind yourself, I'm in training. This is, I've been planted. I've been planted in the ground. I'm a seed. And a seed, to someone who doesn't know what a seed needs to do to become whatever it becomes, it looks like absolute destruction. It looks like death. It looks like it is falling apart. And same with a butterfly. Think about a caterpillar. It turns into gelatinous goo, basically. And then look what happens. It's amazing the fact that those kind of things can happen, that has to happen. That seemingly destructive thing is literally the only way that that beautiful plant, that beautiful tree, anything that comes from a seed, those herbs, anything that has to destruct to become what's beautiful. So I want you to think about the fact that maybe you aren't falling apart. Maybe everything isn't dark. Maybe you've just been planted. And maybe if you start paying attention to that way of thinking, now you can start nurturing that seed. You can start watering it. You can give it sun. You can talk to it. You can in here. So just remember that. I want to thank you so much for hanging in there once again with us. I want to thank Ravina so much for everything that she is and does in my life. This picture right here is the very first time her and I met in real life. We first met on Facebook when she purchased a wind chime that I made. So I just really am so thankful for her radiance and her beautiful soul in my life, and she just is such a presence that I don't know what I would do if our journeys hadn't crossed. I really look forward to seeing you next week. And like I said in the beginning, don't forget, there'll be a little video at the end explaining more about the Patreon. So, once again, you are with me, Ajna Flowers, on The Flowers in the Wyld. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much. Hello, I want to thank you for hanging out with me for just a few minutes more after the podcast today. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Patreon. Now, Patreon, for those of you that don't know, it is a subscription-based membership platform that allows content creators like us to earn a predictable, reoccurring income by providing exclusive content and perks to their biggest fans. So, our Patreon is called Wildflowers. And there are 3 tiers to it, and I'm just going to read this little intro to you about the tiers. The garden is open. You've been circling, feeling the pull, wondering if there's room for your grief, your magic, your messy middle. There is. Wildflowers Patreon is the garden where we do the real work. Breathe before the herbs. Hands in the dirt before the spell. Your body before the bypass. But you can choose your place in the garden. So for $3 a month, you can become a seedling, and that is come to the garden. You get garden notes. Those would be monthly voice memos from Ravina and I, like what things we didn't get to say, get to talk about in the episode, how things are going, just some behind the scenes, more personal contact with us. And then you can connect with us and other listeners on the Patreon posts. And then you'll also get your name mentioned and listed in the credits as a seedling when you sign up. Then the next tier is the Bud, and that is $7 a month. Dig deeper with us. So you get everything that seedling gets, plus you get a monthly 15 to 20 minute mini episode with just Ravina and I. The unfiltered chats, journal shares, and grief moments, too raw for the main feed, which, we get pretty raw there, but. And then we're going to do embodiment drops. I will do a monthly 5 to 10 minute video. It will include breath work, grounding practices, and rituals with essential oils and herbs for grief, anxiety, and healing. We will have a quarterly question and answer that buds will be involved in. You can submit your questions via the Patreon polls. We'll answer them on a patron-only audio episode. Now, for $27 a month, you can be a blossom. And that is Magic Blossoms and Gossamer Wings. You get everything the other two tiers have, but you also get a seasonal grief circle, a live Zoom with myself and Ravina. It's not therapy, just real talk and a space to be seen and heard. Twice a year, you will receive handwritten mail from us. Yes, actual mail that you will get. There'll be a handwritten note, and then there will be an Ajna Flowers mini sage torch, an Ajna Flowers sun glimmer, and or a Ravina Wyld original pendant. Treasures may vary based on season and availability, but you will receive something that Ravina and I have created twice a year with a handwritten note from us. I think that's kind of cool. And then I'd love to have some more input. So I would like your vote on topics and guests. And then we will mention you in the episode as a blossom. So this isn't witchcraft. This is dirt under your nails, tears on your cheeks, and stars in your lungs magic. The spells are simple. Show up, be seen, and dig deeper. The garden waits. Step into the healing alchemy. So I hope that has piqued your interest and that it's something that you would like to have, a little more inside information. Dig a little deeper with us. So I would ask that you head on over to Patreon. I will send over the link to our Patreon page. And I look forward to seeing you there. We are adding content currently. There's some instructional videos. It's going to be a really fun place to just create and grow and heal. I am so, so glad that I got to spend this time with you, and I am Ajna Flowers from The Flowers and the Wyld, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.